2025, and here we are, Carbon 6 Brewing. We're all the way down south, midway between the Brisbane and Gold Coast. And drink some beers with Reece.
ABV is proudly sponsored by Convoy, Bintani, Craft Punks Canning and Rallings, labels and stickers.
All right guys, here we are at Carbon 6. We've got Reece. He loves shiny breweries, as you can tell. And we're gonna go walk around. This is gonna be great. These breweries are really, really good, these tanks, because they make you look slim when you walk past them. So, what do we got, man? Where are we starting?
So yeah, obviously 2,000 litre tanks. Brew houses, 2,000 litre capacity as well. So just, starting small, and once we, get to the point where we can't produce any more beer, we basically start to upgrade, hence why you can see sort of a lot more room around here. So that's when we'll start to look at potentially bigger tanks and stuff like that. Maybe some bright tanks as well.
Yeah.
Currently CRPing a tank, getting ready for a brew day next week.
Yep. So that's a killer boiler, man.
It's like probably a bit of an overkill for this size brew, but I mean, the amount we use of hot liquor and stuff like that, sometimes it's better to overcompensate.
Yeah.
than undercompensate and be struggling.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously shiny bloody brew deck.
Yeah, oh, it's great. As I said, it's slimming. This is my best day ever. Don't look at that side, Joel. Look at the camera.
Not only are you wearing a black shirt.
Yeah.
So HLT, so 4-vessel kit.
Yep.
Starting with the mash, lauter, kettle, whirlpool. Pretty cool thing about this brewery is it has an internal calandria. Basically, what we're achieving with this is faster evaporation rate, so sort of reduces the likes of DMS and things like that. Reduces your boil time. So yeah, kind of allows for a lot faster turnaround. And the lauter is wedge wire, and so on a good run, I've gotten a hazy beer in here within an hour.
Yeah.
So the only beer that's been produced here is when I started. So I mean, it has its own nuances like every brewery, but you figure them out pretty quickly. If anyone's wondering what these are, they're basically just our steam our steam ports, like steam valves.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I call them my wizard sticks because I feel like sitting there just twisting some wands around.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty simple at the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing too extravagant.
Like it's
all touchscreen.
Japa Brewing, is it?
Yeah, so it's a Brazilian make.
Yep.
Shout out to Pedro from Boiling Pot.
Yep.
He's done some translations for me.
Nice.
But so all touchscreen, all solenoid pneumatic valves.
Yep.
So it's pretty easy. Once you've sort of mashed in, you don't really have to touch too much else other than graining out.
Yeah.
And obviously cleaning out tanks and stuff like that. But everything has its own pump underneath. Everything has its own sort of CIP ability. Everything has its own recirculation ability. So it's pretty good.
So your tanks are 2,000, and this is a 2,000 kit, right? Yeah. Can you bank up? Like, have you pushed the boil?
Yeah, I haven't pushed volumes too much yet.
Yeah.
Still sort of, last year we only did 10 beers all up.
Yep.
So that's still for me like a learning phase. Like I'm still really learning the efficiencies, and obviously here at Carbon 6 we're sort of going to focus, like we're only going to have a very limited, like a very small core range. Everything else is going to be different.
Yep.
Which comes with its own tricks, right? Because every batch of beer is different, so getting that dialed in to a specific batch. And if you're doing new stuff all the time, you're always going to find, little gremlins somewhere. But at the end of the day, we're so far pretty happy. I mean, Hyperglow's the new IPA coming out that we're drinking at the moment.
Yeah, it's great, evidently. What's your BioGill over here?
So the BioGill, instead of having, like a grease trap, the BioGill basically, what happens is it'll control the pH of our wastewater, or our brewery waste, I should say, so wort, water. Hops and yeast it doesn't like too much, so we have to sort of do a side stream of that into an IBC.
Yep.
But basically it's sort of like environmentally friendly, so obviously most of our stuff's solar powered.
Yeah.
And then so trying to be, if you less carbon emissions at Carbon 6.
Yep.
We're definitely trying to sort of take those sort of considerations and those practices into play and what we do with that sort of stuff.
And you're not just head brewer either, are you?
No. I wear many different hats here. You know, as the owner Colin said to me today, he goes, the boss has been in charge, so kind of general manager and head brewer. I mean, I deal with Joel a lot with the marketing as well.
Yep.
And obviously mentoring Alyssa, the new assistant brewer. Starting up the bar, like it's literally like having an opportunity to create something on my own. Colin's really given me a lot of creative freedom, a lot of really good, you know, support in terms of training and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool.
Helps that he doesn't like beer, so
yeah,
yeah.
It's a funny one that. That's a story for another day, I think.
Well, mate, I've knocked this IPA over. Do you want to go and sit down and chat some more about these beers? And
sounds good.
Legend.
All right.
All right, mate. So thanks for having us.
No worries.
It's been a long time between chats.
Has been.
Last time was at your other place out at Four Hearts. Also shiny tanks. And now you're here with some more shiny tanks.
Yeah, I know.
Bigger kit, huge kit.
Yeah, massive.
This one.
Yeah, definitely a much bigger kit. Obviously, Four Hearts is only a 1,200 litre, 2-vessel system. So.
Yeah. You found yourself at home here, I reckon, because, man, the beers taste great.
Yeah.
I haven't tasted these ones, but we've had some out of here. I've had heaps of your beers out of cans that you swung me, so I'm very excited to taste these. What do we got? Where are we starting?
So we'll starting with Carbon Dry, which is our core range lager.
Yep.
Then we're going to Alani, which is brand new hop out of the US. Then going into Nebula, our hazy IPA, and then followed by Cardinal, the red IPA, which is like, I love that colour on it at the moment. So.
Yeah, it's good. Nice. I can't hold my glass, but cheers, man.
Cheers.
Try this one. Is this the most popular one in the tap room with all the guys around?
So yeah, I brewed Carbon Dry as just, you know, that sort of almost like macro lager. Just something that no one really needs to think about too much. Just easy drinking, sit back, and, barbecue beers, you know what I mean, that sort of style. Yeah, the mechanics up the road, they love it. You know, they sort of buy it by the carton, and also, you know, on a Friday afternoon or something, they'll come down and have a drink and do all that. So
it's kind of got a really sort of sweet taste to it, but then it just diminishes, and it's got a real nice dry finish. It's great, eh?
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of concept. So it's super simple. I think it's just basically Pilsner and wheat.
Yeah.
So
how much sort of batches have you done of that? Like, is this?
That's the first batch we're trying at the moment. So next week we'll be putting the second batch down the line because we're running out of cartons.
Yep. Any tweaks that you're going to change?
Not really. Maybe just sort of supplement that wheat for a little bit so I can kind of get that clarity back in there a little bit further.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty clear at the moment, but.
What do you use, like your water here input? Is it RO or do you filter and just adjust?
So
or?
filter. We're on Gold Coast water, which is pretty pH neutral anyway. It's pretty soft, so got a really good water profile here at the moment. And so it doesn't really take too much, you know, of the chlorides and the sulfites for us to really achieve what we need to achieve.
Yep.
So just with this, just wanted a crisp, clean lager that everyone could just sit back and have a drink of.
Yeah.
You don't have to focus on it too much.
No, it's pretty nice. So tell us about Carbon 6. Like, what's the go? Why Carbon 6? And
well, the name was here before I came in. We've got a blog that goes into more detail about it. Colin's going to shoot me if I get this wrong.
Colin's over there. Can you jump in if you want?
Yeah. So basically, the name came behind the 6 carbon ring, and the motto for Carbon 6 now is, you know, the art and science of brewing. Colin's background is in biochem, and so he's really big on the lab work and all the testing and stuff like that. So obviously the science side of brewing.
Yeah, he showed me around where the lab's going to go and stuff like that.
So we're going to put a lab in here. We're already starting to get the bits and pieces together for that. And then, obviously the art comes from, you know, just a small core range, but kind of really limited beers all the time, so really allowing me to have that creative freedom, as I said. But the 6 carbon atom is what actually allows the chemical reaction in wort through like all the starches and stuff like that. So when the water's obviously hitting the wort and that's creating that chemical reaction, it's actually, if you go and dive into the science of it, it's a 6 carbon ring that allows that chemical reaction to happen, and hence that makes beer.
Yep.
So it's kind of just a play in that scientific realm of it.
Yeah.
Obviously also the 6 carbon atom can also oxidize beer, so it's something you want to stay clear of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just playing that has, it actually, if you dive into it and like I said, go read our blog on our website, it dives right into why we call it carbon 6 and what that 6 carbon ring actually does.
Yeah.
So
All sorts of high level sciencey
yeah,
stuff. That,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's full nerd.
Yeah. Yep. What's been your first struggle? Like, what's been your struggles here? Because obviously it hadn't made any beer.
Yeah.
So you had to make beer, but it wasn't easy just to come in, turn it on, and.
Oh, I guess that first struggle was wrapping my head around the kit, really. Like going from 4 hearts on a smaller kit to a 4-vessel system, brewing 2,000 litres at a time. It's kind of like, you know, and like it's like every new brewer who probably goes to start like on a new kit. You know, you're trying to find out what the nuances are. Is there any gremlins in it? Probably the hardest one, there was sort of a range of din fittings to try, and it was kind of all over the shop. So we had a fabricator come in and just change it all to triclover.
Yep.
And then we've just got some din to triclover adapters for the brew house.
Yep.
Din's not that bad since I've used it here. It's the first time I've ever really run into din. It's actually pretty simple. But other than that, that was probably the hurdles.
Being a kit from overseas, is that what's normal over there, is it? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, the system still talks to me in Portuguese, so that's another one.
Man, this next beer, Alani.
Yeah, I'm going slow.
No, this is a good thing because it means I'm asking good questions and you're talking, so don't worry. It's good. This is when I know it's a decent interview.
Yeah.
What's the go with this beer? Gee, she's clear, eh?
Yeah. Alani is basically, it's a single hop pale ale. I did Alani because I've never tried the hop, and I mean we used to homebrew together, right? Smashes are always
100%.
the thing, right?
Yep.
It's not technically a smash because it's a base American pale ale recipe.
Yep.
Just single hopped. So I just wanted to see what the hop did. I've sent it out to a bunch of different brewers, you know, people whose palates I really trust, like judges and stuff like that. Same as obviously you trying it. And then I've had like heaps of mixed feedback. Like some people are getting like a piney candy, some people are getting a melon, some people are getting a passion fruit and tropical. Like obviously everyone's palate's different. For me, it's a very heavy like candy melon.
Yep.
When I drink it.
I'm not getting that. You mean like a boiled candy sort of thing? Because I'm not getting that at all.
Yeah.
But I can understand the melon, where that's coming from for sure. It's quite, for me, it's quite melony on the like mid palate, and then the back palate's got that nice fruity bitterness.
Yeah.
The like I noticed your cans, like your pallets are different sizes there. It's how do you work out your size packs that you're going to do?
Well, that was kind of a rush job. Like where we get our Rawlings, where we get our cans from. They were kind
Sponsor of the show.
They were still, they were still going to be on holidays this week, and I'm packing with Craft Punks next week. I just needed to get it all in there, and we had the Hefeweizen at the same time, but I actually had Rawlings split the pallets for me. Yep. Just in case the Hef was on the bottom, so we didn't have to split it here on site.
Mate, this beer, what do we got?
Nebula. So this one is really like where I started playing around with getting out of my comfort zone, I guess, with like, you know, abstract hops. And so this has Lupamax Citra, T90 Mosaic Spectrum, it's got Sub-Zero hop key for cow. Like it's just really playing around with like as juicy as I could get it.
Yep.
And you know, it's got no lactose in it, so you'll probably notice that.
I was just about to ask if it had any lactose in it.
No.
Just to put it around. You're right though, it is juicy, hey?
Yeah.
Right at the front, on the side of your tongue, it sort of fizzles like fruit tingles, and it's super juicy, and then it's bitterness from the mid palate back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
You can sit on that, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so like I really wanted to, obviously, you know, I'm lactose intolerant.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Is that why there's no lactose?
Yeah, but I also feel like you can I really wanted to test myself to see if I can achieve that mouthfeel without having lactose.
Yeah.
I mean, lactose would have probably built that body back in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And probably counteracted a little bit of that back end bitterness. But drinkability wise, I think it's still got that soft pillowy mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bit of a crusher.
Yeah.
For 6.4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Things like you said, you've had to learn a lot here and step out of your comfort zone. What's been something that you've had to do and you're like, oh man, I've never thought I'd have to do this, and almost not like change how you view how you brew, but just really like, oh shit, this I could have been doing this way ago if I changed this process, and you've just had to do it here because of necessity.
That's a good question. You're going to take me
That's
back.
why I'm on this side.
Well, look, obviously going from a bigger kit and from a much smaller kit, to a bigger kit, you kind of have to change, and from 2 vessel to 4 vessel, you got to try and change the way you think about it all the time. I remember giving Mitch from Padre a bit of shit about step mashing.
Yep.
So that's probably one of the things I've changed here is I do a bit more step mashing.
Yeah.
The Hef had protease rest, so at 55. And that was based off the fact that Alex Torbs and Liam Anderson, Torbs is a pretty good brewer.
Yeah.
And they just got me onto this article about brewing Hefeweizen, and I owe them both a 4-pack definitely for it, because
it's good beer.
Being able to do the way that that it was traditionally done, and because obviously 50% wheat malt.
Yeah.
We still want to be able to do that. So step mashing, timing sequences, a little bit different. Obviously the internal calandria is completely different. If you let that go too far, it'll just evaporate your beer. You'll just have such a low yield, it'll be ridiculous. That happened to me the first brew, so I had to obviously think about that and work my head around, all right, what's the internal calandria? I mean, the good thing about the brewing industry, right, if you don't know someone else does, and we're all pretty...
There's a lot of help, hey?
Yeah, we're all pretty collaborative in that sort of things. People have asked me about things, and I've asked them, and there's no lack of information, which is cool.
Yeah.
So.
How are you finding, Carbon 6 is obviously still in its infancy, how old is it in regards to... I mean, obviously the business started whatever time and you start building the thing, but how long have you been brewing beers here?
Well, I started in April last year, and I think we put our first beer down at the end of May.
Yep.
So, even 6 months-ish?
Yeah, nine months.
Well,
it's a new year, mate.
Yes.
2025,
yeah,
welcome to
December.
Yeah, we're from the future.
As you can see, my maths isn't that great today either, apparently. Not long. I mean, and also I was thinking back to when we opened the tap room too, because that's not even 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, we've had really good sort of feedback. I think I've had one really negative review that annoyed the crap out of me, but anyway.
Oh, mate, let it go.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people with a drink of beer and realize, this is terrible.
It was on Alani,
2
actually.
stars.
So.
I hate lagers.
I know. Yeah, it was on Alani actually, but anyway.
Yeah.
The feedback that I'm really going to take into consideration is what
you get at the
judging. Yeah.
Well, then you can know where to pigeon your sort of structure of where you want to move forward.
Yeah.
And then where you want to take the next step, and whether or not tweak something or.
Yeah. So exploration, I'm going to rebrew again. Not next week, the week after. Because that's going to, so carbon dry exploration pale ale, which is funnily enough my first beer down the brew house here that I knocked out. And our mid lager are going to be probably our staple go-tos.
Yep.
And then everything else is always going to be quite different and change. I know Colin wants to go down the avenue at some point of doing zero alc, but obviously that comes with its own, equipment needs and,
Pasteuriser tunnel from sober up for sale.
Yes, Colin is looking at it, yeah. But so, I mean, we're both on the same wavelength of if we can do it and make it work, there's no reason why we can't do it. I just bought myself a little still to start playing with, so. Yeah, just really starting to just really ramp it up. A lot of the things that I was sort of, I guess restricted to previously, I'm not now.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's been really good.
What do we got here? Red IPA.
Yeah, so this is Cardinal. Shout out to Charlie for his typical feedback of fuck. Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so this is another bit of a play around as well, mate. This is actually fermented on a Belgian lager strain. In the avenue I was going with this was like cold IPA realm. It almost reminds me, like, it's like a hybrid between a red IPA and maybe like a doppelbock. From that, like...
There's real nice caramel toffee.
Oh yeah, there's a massive amount.
Really nice sitting there.
There's heaps of
and it holds the sweetness. Just sits there, but the bitterness is really well balanced. That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, you know, my focus is on balanced beers, mate. So
Well, you know, I like reds as well.
Yeah.
Must be the ranger. What's 2025 going to bring for Carbon 6?
Colin would like to very much up production, obviously on the same page. So increase production, obviously get the tap room pumping and allow people to come in, because we've had a lot of people go, yeah, open on the weekends, and up until recently we haven't, just because we haven't really been set up for it yet. Have that kick off, really sort of big online push, like if you're a subscriber to us, we're really going to help them out. Like, if you're a subscriber, you basically get, pre-release options straight away. You get monthly discounts on specific items. Colin's got this really cool idea of, like, he's linked up to one of these companies where if you buy a carton of beer, you can go into the winter, win a free holiday and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
So Colin's way of thinking is really good in terms of, I don't want to do what everyone else has done. Let's do something different. Put it out into the world and just do testing on it. What works, what doesn't work, and just keep doing something new. We don't just have to follow, the trend of every other brewery.
Yeah.
We want to kind of create our own mark and our own stamp, and that's really what 2025 is going to be about, is our awareness, growing that reputation, growing that followers, and I guess it all starts with the quality of the beer, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, man, this is great. Beers are excellent, and let's cut off, Joel, so that we can go and have some more.